Hello again, chaps and chapettes. How are we all doing? It is lovely to see you all again. As always, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, guys, I put out a video about what happened in Southport and the chaos that ensued following that event. People letting out their anger and frustration in various ways, making hurty Facebook posts and kicking the hell out of their streets, that kind of a thing. And I said at the end of this video that I'd be calling out examples of two-tier policing and examples of where the justice system in this country has just personally failed across the board. And I do have two more examples to add to the list that I've already put. Now, the first and foremost is, of course, Hugh Edwards, the ex-BBC news presenter. Honestly, guys, that place is like a conveyor belt for monsters. They just keep coming and coming and coming. It's like a breeding ground for demons. I find it astonishing that it's still a legal requirement to pay money to these people to watch their shite programming and live television as a whole. I find it absolutely diabolical that they still expect people to pay for this service. No matter how much scandal ensues this company, it needs to be written off the board and just, let to be crumbled into a dust. But that's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about is this Hugh Edwards. I want to tell you what he's been receiving on his phone and what's actually happened with his charge. During his sentencing at West Magistrates Court, he was told to attend a sex offenders treatment programme. Is that some sort of code word for the death penalty that I don't know about? Because that's the only treatment programme I can possibly think of for a sex offender, particularly a paedophile. There's no conversion groups for people like this. It's like sending a gay man to a conversion group. You can't cure this sort of thing. A gay man likes men. He likes cock. That's the way it goes. This man likes underage children. There's no cure in it. Well, there is one cure, but that was abolished back in the late 60s. Probably never to return now because of all the left-wing libertarians within our parliament would never allow it. Edwards pleaded guilty to 3 counts of making indecent images of children. Under the law, images can mean photos or clips. The Chief Magistrate District Judge Paul Goldspring accepted Edwards' submission that he did not make or create the images in the conventional sense, and instead met the legal definition of doing so by opening them on WhatsApp. The court previously heard that Edwards sent hundreds of pounds to Williams after he sent him pornographic images. Whilst most of the images were of adult men, a significant proportion of them were images of children. Of the 377 images, 441 were indecent images, which means they were underage. The court heard that the Category A images Edwards was in possession of were mostly children aged between 13 and 15. One child was aged between 7 and 9. I'd just like to point out that a Category A image is something that depicts penetrative acts. We won't go any further than that, guys. Quite twisted, sick shit, some of the worst you could possibly get. Whereas Category B, I think, is just plain nudity, and Category C, I think it can range from anything from nudity to, other acts, that kind of a thing. Anyway, the reason I want to focus on this is Hugh Edwards got a suspended sentence. 0 jail time, and the same is said for the person who supplied him with these images. He also got a suspended sentence. 0 jail time. I'm sorry to go over old rock, guys, and using the same example over and over again, but it has to be bloody said. The people who were involved in the Southport riots got a heavier sentence than these people. These are potential paedophiles. Well, the potential paedophiles, they are paedophiles. They are exchanging images of underage kids being sexually abused. These people are monsters. The people involved in the Southport chaos, I suppose we could say, were just moment of madness, moment of rage. That's it. There was no danger to anybody. An old woman, an old carer, got sent down for a Facebook post. Wayne, over on X, he got sent down for posting things about mosques and glorifying a burning car, was it? Another man was sent down for shouting at a police dog. I mean, what an absolute shambles. But that's not the worst of it. The worst of it is still yet to come, guys, because I've got another story here of a Rotherham rape gang survivor who wanted to stand up in court and demand that the people who raped her for many, many years, ruined her entire life, wanted to be deported back to Pakistan. But of course, that was thrown out by the judge. Unbelievable. A Rotherham rape gang survivor was ordered by a judge to remove a demand for her abusers to be deported in her courtroom victim impact statement, GB News can reveal. The woman, who has her identity protected by a court order, gave a moving statement in Sheffield Crown Court last week, over 20 years after she was groomed and abused from the age of 11. Before she delivered her victim impact statement, the prosecuting counsel and the judge conferred over the sections that had to be removed. GB News was sent the original copy of the speech that she intended to deliver, which was several sections crossed out due to the restrictions ordered by the judge who granted sight of the statement before it was read out in court. The censored conclusion reads, "I'd like to request that after the sentencing and upon Rudy and Sholbear's release, that they should be deported back to Pakistan, as that's where they originated from and came here to exploit children. Thank you." Ruby refers to Mohammed Ammar, 42, convicted of 2 counts of indecent assault. His sentence was 14 years imprisonment, 2 years on an extended licence. Shalbear referred to Mohammed Siab, 49, convicted of 2 counts of rape, 1 count of sexual intercourse with a girl under 13, and 1 count of trafficking. He was sentenced to 25 years imprisonment, 12 months on licence. Siab required an Urdu interpreter in court, and of course he did. Been here for 20 odd years, still can't speak a word of fucking English. I'm not surprised that this was thrown out by the judge, guys. It wasn't a demand, it was a request by this poor girl who has had her life entirely ruined. Not just her, thousands of girls across the years, across the area, have now had their lives destroyed. Some of these girls have even committed suicide because of it. But of course, it's near on impossible to deport anybody, sexual offenders, anything, because of ECHR guidelines and human rights breaches, etc. Do you know there's one in not Rotherham? Where's the other one? Rochdale. There is one in Rochdale who served his 6-year prison sentence. He's had his British citizenship scrapped, and he is still to this day fighting deportation. And do you know how? Human rights violations and ECHR rules, little loopholes. He's going round and round and round and spinning the Home Office round with it. It's an absolute disgrace. This justice system, as I keep telling you guys, is not worth the steam off your piss. And this just goes to prove it. This story and the Hugh Edwards story. 0 prison time for 2 paedophiles. You couldn't make this up, could you? Anyway, that's enough of me rabbling, guys. 8 minutes, far too long. I've got to try and make these videos shorter. I do apologise. Thanks a lot for watching anyway, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers. Fucking disgracer.